And now let's return to our lead story. And the country is set to welcome the first batch of vaccines from British-Swedish company Astrazeneca. In this exclusive interview, British Ambassador Daniel Pruce shares his thoughts about the arrival, as well as concerns on the efficacy of the vaccine.
It's a great day. It's an exciting day where we will see the arrival of this first consignment of the Astrazeneca vaccines under the COVAX facility. My understanding is that there'll be something like 487,200 shots in that first consignment. So just shy of 500,000, which is a fantastic, first delivery through what will be a process of subsequent deliveries through the COVAX program. I think overall, the initial allocation is something around 9 to 10 million doses, most of which I think will be AstraZeneca vaccines. But obviously, the WHO and its partners working to ensure the organization and the smooth logistics of the delivery of these important batches of very precious cargo.
And Ambassador, if the Philippine government asks for more doses from the COVAX facility, given that the United Kingdom is among the donors, can we get a guaranteed commitment for more vaccines?
So I really think that's something between the governments in the COVAX facility and the WHO and its partners, CEPI and Gavi, who coordinate COVAX's activities.
Ambassador, there's still a lot of vaccine hesitancy among Filipinos. Do you think that the arrival of these AstraZeneca vaccines will improve confidence in the country? Because the hesitancy basically comes in terms of efficacy and side effects of vaccines.
So I think, Rico, the story of the development of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been one of very significant transparency throughout the whole process. As you'll know, the research was done at Oxford University in the United Kingdom. The British government supported that research. The partnership between Oxford and AstraZeneca then came online. As the clinical trials progressed, everything was done to conduct those trials transparently. Data was published, information was peer-reviewed. So I think ultimately people will make their own judgments in relation to vaccines. But I think the key issue is one of transparency in the research and development of the vaccines. And I should say as well, as you know, in the United Kingdom, we have, since the beginning of December, when the very first vaccines to be administered anywhere in the world was administered at a hospital in Coventry by matron May Parsons, a wonderful Filipina healthcare worker in the United Kingdom. We've now vaccinated over 20 million people. And it's very clear that the vaccines we are using in the UK, it's AstraZeneca and Pfizer, are already having a very significant positive impact on the hospitalization rates, on the serious illness rates as well.
I mentioned about vaccine hesitancy, Ambassador, in the country, because CNN Philippines spoke to Octa research fellow and molecular biologist Father Nicanor Austriaco, and he said he has his reservations about the efficacy of the AstraZeneca vaccine, particularly on the South Africa variant. And the priest says the variant basically decreases the vaccine's efficacy from 70% to a mere 10%. Has there been any communication and coordination between the UK government, AstraZeneca, and the Department of Health on this matter?
So I think the specific detail in that question is it's more a question for the scientists and perhaps at AstraZeneca themselves than it is for me, Rico, with respect. I should say that my understanding is that research still continues,
right,
and testing in relation to the new variants continues as well. But I think what is already clearly established, based on the experience we've had in the United Kingdom, where, as I say, over 20 million people have been vaccinated, they've had their first shot,
Right.
a smaller number have had their second shot as well, is you reduce the likelihood of serious illness by 60%, and you reduce the likelihood of hospitalization by 80%. And those are real-world numbers based on the real-world deployment of the vaccine in the UK.
With the close to 500,000 doses arriving today, Ambassador, of Astrazeneca vaccines, the big question is, there has already been an order from the private sector of millions of doses. When can we expect, Ambassador Pruce, for these doses for the private sector to arrive in the Philippines?
So I think, Rico, for me, this feels like a pipeline, if you like, a pipeline of supply which is opening, and there are a number of sort of stages in the pipeline. So later today, we'll be having the first consignment from the COVAX facility, which is, as I say, an historic moment and a great moment for the Philippines. That should lead to, as far as the Astrazeneca contingent of that COVAX supply is concerned, I think of the order of 5 million or so AstraZeneca vaccines coming into the Philippines in the subsequent weeks and months. Then I think a little bit later, as we approach the summer, we will start to see the first deliveries flowing from the agreements that you mentioned, the tripartite agreements between AstraZeneca, government of the Philippines, the private sector, and the LGUs. Now, there were two agreements that were struck, one before Christmas, one in January. In total, those account for a further 17 million shots of the AstraZeneca vaccine. And I think that pipeline of supply will continue through the summer, through into the autumn, up towards the end of the year. So that should mean, if you take together the COVAX contribution and the tripartite agreements, something of the order of 23 million shots of the AstraZeneca vaccine being in the country by the end of the year, which I should say is a remarkable volume and a fantastic achievement.
And that was UK Ambassador to the Philippines, Daniel Pruce.